What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's another beautiful day out in the shop. My name is Jason. So the next couple pieces I needed came in. I left off yesterday evening. I got the engine and transmission bolted back in, sitting on their mounts, ready to go. So today my temperature, my coolant temperature gauge and my boost gauge came in, so I want to get those sensors mounted to the engine block and incorporated into my wire harness, and then I want to get my harness wrapped and cleaned up, ready to be installed for hopefully the last time. I'm also going to try to get as much of the engine put back together as I can, get the intake manifold on it, the exhaust parts, all of that stuff too. So gonna just keep chipping away, try to get as much done as I can each time I have a chance to work. All right, team, making progress. Got the intake manifold back on there. Got the motor mounts tightened all the way down. I think next thing I'm gonna do is drape the wire harness back over it. I'm gonna be able to put my coolant temperature sensor actually in the radiator. There's a port in the stock radiator. That's an 1/8 inch threaded and pipe fitting, just like my new temperature sensor is. So that's where I'm gonna put that. So that'll get wrapped into the front end harness. So yeah, I'm gonna get my harness draped back over the engine so I can get my boost pressure sensor figured out where I'm gonna put that, and then meld that into the harness also, and then just keep on going on this thing. All right, everybody, so I was plugging away on things, getting stuff lined up. It occurred to me I haven't put my wastegate onto my manifold yet. The wastegate is super important, obviously. So I know I wanted to run it on the top here. I'm gonna try see if I can't get away with one 60mm wastegate. So I've got my stand pipe here for the wastegate tacked in place. I've got it marked, and I started a hole here inside where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna get most of my hole cleared out, and then I'm gonna weld it the rest of the way. The weld is really hard, so I may actually use the torch to get some of that cleared out of there. But I'm gonna keep going on this. I need to get this wastegate put into place before I go any further. All right, everybody, I'm calling it a night. I'm not gonna lie, that getting that wastegate mounted just kicked my ass. It took way longer than I expected it to. It was a heck of a lot more fitting and grinding than I expected it to be. But it's on there. Everything's welded, cleaned up, brushed off. Got the exhaust manifold bolted onto the engine. Got the other side bolted onto the engine also. The intake manifold is on. That was on earlier. But, and it's about 10:30. I'm calling it a day. I'm happy that that's done. I'm still able to get the oil cap off. I'm gonna leave it like this initially, but I think what I'm actually gonna end up doing is I'm gonna switch the valve covers. I'm gonna put this on the other side and bring the other valve cover to this side, because I'm gonna run what's called an evacuum system. I'm gonna run that for my crankcase breather. So moving this valve cover to the driver's side will give me my port to plumb into my evacuum system. And then moving the other valve cover to this side will put my oil fill at a place that is not right next to my wastegate, and hopefully will prevent my oil cap from melting. I mean, I don't know how hot the wastegate is gonna get, but I guess we'll find out, right? If it ends up I try it out and I do a little bit of tuning and it melts the oil cap, then I'll know that I need to come up with a different solution. Or at least try my switch the valve covers idea and see where that gets me. All right, everybody, so next day, I'm gonna keep chipping away at this thing. I got a little bit of time. So I'm probably gonna try to finish getting my crossover pipe on. I'll get some of the stuff connected underneath, the transmission shifter and things like that. And then I'm gonna keep going up on the top side with wiring and everything else. Just gotta get as much done as I can in little spaces that I have. Well, kind of got into the zone and forgot to check in for a little bit there, but here's where we're at. I've got the engine for the most part assembled. I've got my wire harness hanging over it, and I've started wrapping the harness. I'm using this vinyl tape that I found on Amazon. It doesn't have any adhesive on it, but when you wrap it over itself, like for a harness, it keeps it nice and tight, holds everything where it should be. So I really like that. I'm gonna get a couple little pieces of looming just for over on this side, but 95% of this harness you're not gonna see because it's gonna be under my engine covers. So I'm not even gonna bother putting like the corrugated looming on it. I'm just gonna leave it more or less like this. So I'm gonna keep going. I got my boost line or my boost gauge line connected here. So I'm gonna keep that in with my harness as well. And then that's where I'm at. I'm gonna keep going. Alright guys, I'm calling it a night. The bugs are, for whatever reason, are just absolutely out of control and I can't take it anymore. But I've got the passenger side of the engine pretty much ready to go, except for the downpipe, the oxygen sensors, and I need to fab up the dump tube for the wastegate still. Driver's side, also pretty much there. I've got everything connected electrically. I've got the fuel connected. I've got my little cover in place. Throttle cable is hooked up. So the only thing left to do over here is just finish wrapping my wire loom, my wire harness, and get that tidied up a little bit. And I'm gonna get the wiring underneath done as well. And then I'll be ready to do another startup just to get a little bit more motivation. I changed a few things in the tune to try to get the idle to where it's supposed to be, so we'll see if that worked. But I just love the sound of this thing, so I want to start up in here and go again. But we'll get back after it tomorrow, we'll do some more. It's been a while, I've been struggling to make time for this project. I finally just got to the point today that I needed to come get something done. I want to be able to give you guys an update on this. So I've got the engine, transmission, transfer case in the truck. I've got the exhaust hooked up, electrical hooked up. I haven't done any of the cooling plumbing yet. Fuel is connected. I got my harness all tidied up to this point. I'll take care of this point here once I put the fenders back on. But I wanted to get it to a point that I could start the engine up. I haven't had it running since I pulled the engine out to put the torque converter in. So I've got that put back together now. I've got my wiring cleaned up. I've got the torque converter in. I filled the transmission with fluid. So I wanna start this thing up, make sure it still runs right. I actually tweaked the tune a little bit so it should idle at a more reasonable RPM now. So I'm gonna start it up here, hopefully. I mean, I didn't change anything other than the tune, so I think it should start up. And then I'll be able to at least give you guys an update on progress on this thing. So let me get you set here and we'll see if this puppy starts. All right, so I'm in the truck. I've got HP tuners here. I'm gonna start logging. I wanna be able to see what's going on. All right, let's see if this puppy fires. at least she runs and she idles at a reasonable level now. It was idling at about 800 RPM. So, pretty happy with that. Gives me a little reinvigorated enthusiasm. I was honestly getting a little frustrated because I haven't been able to make time to come out and work on it. But feels good. Feels good to hear it run. Feels good to know everything, at least from what I can tell, everything is okay. Everything's connected, doing what it should be doing. So I think I'm gonna call that it for this video, everybody. Hopefully here in the next week or two, projects and life outside of the garage should return somewhat to normal, and I'll be able to get back to focusing on this thing in the evenings and whenever I have a little bit of time. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, if you have any advice, this is my first time doing anything like this, so happy to see what you have to say in the comments. If you're learning like I am, go ahead and give the video a like. If you want to check out one of my Mohawk Motors shirts, I'll leave the link down in the description for you. I'll leave the link for the parts that I put on in this video. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.